Okay guys, so I am here to do my review of my Hilason Treeless that I received. Overall, I think it's a great buy. So I'm going to show you guys what I like about it and a couple things I don't like. But with the price, you honestly can't really go wrong. Okay, first off, the main part, well, it's just, excuse me, obviously the leather. I am a leather worker, I make custom tack, so I have a little bit of background knowledge in leather. I do have to say it is not Herman Oak, and for those of you that know leather, you'll know that that's a really high grade of leather, excuse me, what a lot of tack makers use. This is not Herman Oak, but it's not the lowest grade of leather either. It's actually pretty good. The only thing I have to say is for this specific model is that if you'll notice in the cracks, some of the antique is missing, or it wasn't a fully blended in. That's the only thing I have to say. And then it's a little bit streaky, but honestly, I don't mind it too much. It's not that bad. The hardware, it is not, expensive silver, or anything like that. It's just cheap, made silver. But, most people end up changing their conchos out on their saddle anyway. So it's not really, that bad. The only thing I have to say is here, this nameplate, there's some sharp edges there. So I may eventually take that off. I know I'm going to definitely change out these conchos, but that isn't too big of a deal. For the, let's see here. So I spent some time pulling on these last night because I wanted to make sure. I know I'm not going to be able to give as much force as like a breast collar would, but I wanted to make sure because I had heard before that these had popped out on somebody before, so I was pulling on these last night and they seemed to be really good. Now on to the rigging. As you will see, it is just some nylon down here, which in my opinion can tend to fray and probably wear down, faster than leather. But it honestly seems just like the same nylon that you would receive on another saddle. Like, this is pretty thick. And honestly, I thought if I ever need to, I would probably change the latigo and the off billet to leather. But as of right now, I mean, it hasn't been used, so it's doing okay. The stirrups actually are really good. They were really hard to get off, so they seem pretty sturdy. I know my mother had an A beta, and so I guess one thing I have to say is that the buckles, the Blevins buckles would come undone really, really easily. Sorry, my dog is trying to eat the camera. But anyway, another thing was I did ask Hilason to change out the stirrups to the silver or metal barrel ones. They did not, but that is okay. With the price I paid for the saddle, I can change them out anyway. These are the ones that came on the model. I'm not thrilled with these. I like a barrel stirrup a lot better. So on the fenders, I've seen some people who are short, like me. I'm short. I'm only 5'4", and I like to ride with a really, really short stirrup. Everybody pretty much says I ride like a jockey. So I have these on the highest hole, so we will see when I ride if they are short enough. So if not, there is room to punch holes on here. There's a lot of room, but the only thing is I'm afraid of this fender. You're not going to be able to pull it up much more. So I have seen people pull off this bottom fender because to allow for you to be able to adjust them more. Okay, and on to the back. As you can see here, like I said, with the antique that they used, they didn't fill in a lot of the spots, but that is okay. That's just a cosmetic flaw. The seat seems to be really good. I checked up in here. All of the tacks are there. They seem pretty good. Let's see here. The saddle, or the seat itself, like I said, I really, really like how deep it is. I mean, I don't have my ruler with me, but it is really, really deep. Like I said, I ride in a 14 tread, and this is a 14, and so when I sat in it, it fit me like a glove, basically. Now, I haven't sat on it again on my horse, but so far it fit really good. But back to here, like I said, I checked all this. All of the tacks are in place. Everything seems to be sewn really good. They did use a good quality thread. It's not like a thin one. So let's see here. The horn itself actually seems pretty good. Not too high, not too low. It actually seems really right. I know a lot of people like a shorter horn, but I think it honestly will work out great. Now for the underside. The fleecing on it is actually really, really good. I've bought, you know, some saddles, used ones, but the fleece was never this thick. It honestly actually is really, really padded, very good. It just seems like a really, I mean, it's not, I'm sure, I know, for the money, it's not the highest quality fleece, but it actually is not that bad. Like I said, I pulled on these some, just making sure that they were good and on there. Now you can see under the fenders a lot better. It all looks good. Like I said, these buckles don't come undone, you know, easily at all. They take a lot of force, which is good. I know it's used, and it'll probably, you know, get better as it is used. I mean, when it's used, excuse me, it'll be a lot better than now when it's new. Here is the underside, the rigging. As you can see, it is the nylon, which again, with the Bob Marshalls, they use nylon too. They don't use leather. So, as you can see over here on this side, it seems to be sewn really good. So I did like what they did here with the fenders. They nylon on the underside and then leather on the top. I thought that was pretty good, maybe to kind of help reinforce it instead of being just nylon. So that is it. Like again, I said, the off billet, I have punched holes in nylon before. I have to find I just took like a soldering kind of iron and, you know, burned holes through there. I already know that this is probably going to be way too long for my mare. So please excuse when I try on the saddle today. I already ride her in a 30, and I'm pretty sure she's going to need like a 26. So, like I said, I may put the off billet on from my other saddle because I do know that it has holes punched all the way up here. That is the only thing I have to say. But we will see how that goes. And again, the Latigo looks pretty good. I don't know if I trust this so much. So I may end up just switching to my leather just because I'm not sure I trust this little thin material right here. I mean, the nylon will work fine. It's just I'm not sure I trust this. So probably actually, I may switch this to my leather, and I may keep this on here, but I would probably switch it to a higher thickness of a string here. I have some in the shop, so I can go ahead and get some. So now that is it for the tour of the saddle. Now it is time to go ride. Alrighty, so for part 2 of our review, I have the saddle on. It looks good so far. Actually, her back girth did not fit with her other saddle, and I actually have it on the second one. So that was exciting. Overall, it looks good. The only issue I'm having is the... Alright, so as I was saying, the back, actually, that's the only thing I noticed so far is that it kind of sticks up. It isn't molding with her, but it's because it's kind of stiff. I know it's a new saddle, and that's the one thing. It's almost like it was kind of kept wrapped up in a box. So this is kind of like really like formed narrow, but I know it's going to stretch out as soon as I ride in it and get the, you know, leather oiled up and everything like that. But so far, so good. I've sat here and I've pulled on it as good as I can, and it's not budging anywhere, and I don't even have the girth done up all the way. I do my girth the old style. I like to tie it. So I haven't done that yet, but like I said, so far it seems good. It's just the only thing right now that I'm noticing is just this back is the saddle's kind of, I don't know what to say, kind of form funky back here. So I think as soon as I ride in it and it gets stretched out, it'll be a lot better. And also it's because there's so much fleece underneath here. Almost, I feel like this pad was too thick. I was gonna ride her in my 1-inch contrapedic pad, but I feel like that would be too much. So we're gonna try and see how this goes with riding. Okay, so I just rode in it a little bit. I'm gonna get some footage of me sitting in it, but I was just riding around. It's really snowing and icy out right now, so I can't really do too much. But right now, you can see how loose my girth is. And I just got off and the saddle didn't even move. So it's very, very loose. It's sitting pretty good on her. The back has formed down a little bit. It's not as high up as it was when I got on. I think, again, it's just gonna be a matter of breaking it in. The stirrups, I do have to say I'm kind of short, so I wish they would go up a little more, but I don't like these stirrups anyway, and they need to be turned. So I think if I put on different stirrups, I think I'll be okay. But as far as everything else, like I said, the girth is really, really loose. I just got off of her and it didn't even move. So far it is going good. Right now I have a 30-inch on her, which I'm probably going to need to go to a 26. I honestly have to say I don't have the girth very tight, but as you can see I can lean and the saddle doesn't really move. I just got off of her and it didn't move. The problem being with it is this latigo is so thick you can't get a good tie on it. So, but as far as riding her in it, I feel comfortable. I can turn her around really tight and it's not going anywhere. It's staying in the center of her. And I do have to say she has a lot more movement. She can move a lot better with it than our treat saddle. So, and as you can see, the back has broken down a little more with me sitting in it. But I'll show you guys me getting off even without a mounting block. I don't like to get off without a mounting block. But as you can see, the saddle didn't move. And her girth, I could fit a hand all the way in there. It's not very tight at all. So far it's staying good. So overall, this review on a Hilason treeless saddle is good. Just the only things is number one, the latigo I'm going to be changing because it is very thick, very hard to tie the girth with it being that thick. Number two, the back kind of is a little stiff, doesn't mold as easy, but as it gets rode in, I think it's going to break in and be okay. The padding is really, really thick, so if you use a thick pad, probably wouldn't be good. Probably work okay. The third thing is that I rode in I took the off billet off of my, I took the off billet off of my other saddle because the holes would go up higher than the one that came on it. But I think I'm still going to get a shorter girth. But all in all, you guys can see I got off of it without a mounting block and it didn't move. So all in all, I think for the price, it is good. I just can't wait till I get it broke in. I never felt unstable in it. Again, I didn't get to do much riding because of our weather conditions right now. But so far, so good.